Welcome to BusyButHealthy.com, your no-nonsense source for keeping healthy, fit, and fabulous with your host, Kristine Fretwell.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Season 2 of the Busy But Healthy Show. And I am Kristine. And today I've got another fabulous recipe for you today. It is pumpkin chocolate puffs. Pumpkin yum. Chocolate yum. In a cookie, yum. Triple yum. What you're going to love about this is that per cookie, 40 calories. Yeah, I know. I'm impressed too. I actually came up with this recipe by mistake. I actually wasn't even expecting it to turn out, and it did. And when I punched in all the calorie information and saw it was like 40 calories a cookie, I was like, come on now. That's just too good to be true. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do is, because we're using some beans here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna blend up basically all the liquid ingredients. So all the wet ingredients, including the beans, we're just gonna mix together in my handy dandy magic bullet. So I'm just going to put the beans in. So that's half a cup of navy beans. And if you can't find navy beans, and these are also rinsed really, really well, and obviously drained in the colander there. If you can't find navy beans, you could also try it with white kidney beans, which are, I can't remember what else they're called. They call them something else. But anyways, if you can't find navy beans, you could use white kidney beans as well. And then we've got half a cup of canned pumpkin. And the pumpkin is really what brings the calories down in this recipe. So you gotta love pumpkin. And then we've got our 2 egg whites. These are just the carton ones. And then we've got just a 1/4 cup of the unsweetened almond milk. I'm using the vanilla one. You could use coconut milk. You could use whatever kind of milk you choose. I just happen to like the unsweetened almond milk. And this is just a teaspoon of vanilla. And that is it for our liquid ingredients. So I'm going to whiz this through the magic bullet and meet me right back here in a second, okay? Okay, so we've got our wet stuff here. We're just going to set aside for a second, and we're going to move on to our dry in this bowl here. So for our flour, we've got 1½ cups of oat flour. Big fan of oat flour. It also makes it gluten-free. So in goes our oat flour. And then, as I mentioned before, we've just got 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, and also a little bit of salt and a little bit of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. You don't want too much. And I think that's it. So I'm going to dump that in. Okay, and then use a little nutmeg as well. I'm not even going to measure it because I'm literally just going to use kind of more of a pinch. Nutmeg has a really strong flavor, so you don't really want to use too much. So just about that. Probably about not even a 1/4 teaspoon. So in goes our nutmeg, and then 1/4 cup of brown sugar. This is like a really dark brown sugar, but whatever you happen to have on hand. And then of course we're going to use some Kristine stevia. This is their baking formulation, just to bring down the sugar content even more. You will have to experiment a little bit when you start cooking with stevia. I've done a lot of the guesswork for you, so I kind of know what works and what doesn't, so you can definitely follow my recipes. But yeah, I do notice in muffins you can pretty much take out all the sugar altogether and substitute with the Krista. I do notice though in cookies you kind of need to have a little bit of sugar in there, so that's why I'm using a little bit of the brown sugar and a little bit of the Krista. I just find that the cookies turn out better and have more of a cookie texture when you're mixing it with both. Okay, so I'm just going to mix these dry ingredients together here. So now we just have to mix in the wet ingredients. So this is our pumpkin, our beans, the egg, the milk. Okay, and then I just whizzed it all up in the magic bullet, or if you have a blender or food processor, whatever you got. Okay. So I'm just going to mix this in. is just about mixed. I'm going to dump in the chocolate chips. So this is just a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, like semi-sweet chocolate chips, basically. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so we're done our batter. And I'm going to use one of these handy dandy, this one's called a chip clip, but basically it's like a cookie scoop. And I wanted to say thank you to one of my best friends, Midori, and also Nicole, who follows along a lot of the recipes and suggested these handy dandy little things because it perfectly portions out all your cookies. And it's great because then you know, especially if you're counting calories, how many is in each cookie. So I'm going to use this, and I've just lined a couple of cookie sheets with parchment paper. You could just spray it. I just happen to like using parchment paper because really it is really easy to use and nothing sticks to it, which is awesome. Okay, so there's one. This batch actually makes about 31 to 32 puffs, pretty exact. But obviously when you're using this scoop, it helps. So I'm going to portion these all out, and I'll meet you right back here. Hey, I'm back, and I finished scooping out my pumpkin chocolate puffs. May not look the prettiest, but trust me, it'll be very beautiful when it comes out. So these are going in a 375 preheated oven for about 12 minutes. So I'm going to throw them in, and I'll let you know how they come out. Hey there, it's Christine. I am back with my pumpkin chocolate puffs that are out of the oven and cooled. Don't they look great? They're such cute little cookies, and they've got the chocolate chips in there, which is fabulous. And as I mentioned, they're only like 40 calories each, and they've got only like 1 gram of fat in each one. So have 3 or 4 of these with a protein shake as a snack, and it's a really great snack, low in sugar, and you'll get some whole grains in there and some fiber. So thanks for joining me on another episode of Busy But Healthy, and I'll see you guys again soon.
For more tips, recipes, and information, please visit busybutthealthy.com.